Hello everyone and welcome back to Ben's Bricks. My name's Ben and welcome to episode 2 of Ask Ben. So thank you very much firstly to, I got a couple of comments from last video and a guy, I hope I pronounced your name right, Farwin, who left me a question, so that'll be the first question I get to. And then I've got another couple of questions that I've just sort of come up with for the rest of the video, so we'll get right into it. Okay, so the first question is, Marvel and DC San Diego Comic-Con sets, are they worth investing in? Now, in my opinion, 100% yes. And the reason why I think this is because they're so exclusive, the price is only ever going to go up. You know, with most sets, once they retire, there's going to be so much in circulation. And, you know, with a lot of used sets generally, people would, you know, quite happily save a bit of money and buy a used one. But with these San Diego Comic-Con exclusive sets, so the one I'm going to keep referring to is the Throne of Ultron set, because it's one that I know of and I really want. So if I think about that set, me as a collector wanting it, I'm not going to buy that used, you know, unless I can get it for like 50 quid or something, I might pick it up. But for me, I'd rather pay the £400, £500, £600 and get it new in the sealed box in perfect condition. And I think that's going to be the same for most people. So let's say eventually I buy one, I then may decide to open it. So then there's less available in the market, and that one less available, as I'll show you in a minute with how many there are currently available on Bricklink and eBay, could really impact the price, especially, you know, if I'm buying one and I buy the cheapest one, the price could then go up by 10, 20, £50, £100 between the cheapest and the second cheapest. So I think with each purchase that goes into them, it will really affect the price. Now obviously, you know, if I decide I want to go crazy and buy 10 of them, then there might be a collector out there who has a couple who then might, you know, go and sell for a similar sort of price. But generally, if people have them and are willing to sell them, they're either waiting for the price to go up, so therefore if you're buying them at a lower price where they're not listed, it's going to be a good investment, or they're already listed and, you know, it's that cheaper price and you can buy up the cheaper price. You know, I think I'll put it on screen in a minute, but I was looking on eBay and Bricklink and stuff earlier, and I think it's generally like the £400 to £600 range at the minute for the Throne of Ultron set. And if I decided to go and buy all of the ones on eBay and all of the ones on Bricklink, then I could potentially be the decider of the market price for that. And people will pay it, like they'll definitely pay it, because it's the only ones that are available. You know, like in the grand scheme of things, the £400 to £600 for a small set isn't that much if you consider what some of like the Star Wars sets especially go for. Think about like Chrome Vader, like just a polybag one minifigure in, how much that's worth. Even if you look at like, you know, Cloud City Boba Fett, a minifigure separated from a set, you're not going to be able to get that for less than £1,000. So I think realistically, if you take everything else into consideration, especially in the land of Star Wars, that £400 to £600 range is really not that bad. And if I wasn't looking at, you know, growing my business and other things, I may consider investing in those San Diego Comic-Con sets. But for the minute, for me, it's not worth it. But for anyone else, it's 100% worth it. So in a second, I'll put a short video on the screen about what's available. So as you can see in this video, there's 5 available on eBay and 9 available on Bricklink. But most notably for me is that there's none available in the UK. So I could easily buy one, charge a bit more, or again, like I said earlier, I could, you know, buy all of them and charge more. But I think, you know, as well, like looking on Bricklink especially, a lot of them seem to be in Indonesia. So, you know, an American buyer, if you're a collector, or an English buyer, or wherever you're from, are you really going to want to take that risk of buying it so far away? Or is it better for someone like me to come along, buy a couple of them from these other countries, I'll take the risk on the shipping and stuff, and I can sell them at an inflated price to buyers in my market. So yeah, like overall, I think they're going to be really good investments 9 times out of 10. You know, especially something like the Frodo Ultron. I just think it's such a cool set. Like, I'm a massive Marvel fan, and I'd love to own that set one day. So yeah, overall, I think it's really, really worth investing in, because there's just such limited quantities, and each time one goes off the market, the price will go up a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. So yeah, overall, definitely worth it in my opinion, although I have never invested in them, I've never owned one, but it's definitely something I want to do in the not too distant future. Okay, so getting into our next question. And the next question is going to be, is Lego greedy? Now, the short answer for me is no. Okay, so, but I think I don't have the greatest knowledge around stock markets and, you know, public traded companies versus private companies, but from the little bit I do know, I think for a privately owned, sort of family owned business, or be it very large scale family business, I would argue that they are potentially not greedy, but they prioritize profit over like brand. So if you look at like what they're doing with like price hikes and the amount that they charge for some sets nowadays, I do think it is getting borderline ridiculous. Like, you know, they bought out the UCS 8080 last year, and that's £700 I think in the UK, or US maybe $800. Might be making up, not sure about the US price. But regardless of what the actual figure is, it's really costly for a Lego set. You know, I was just talking about £400 to £600 for a very rare small San Diego Comic Con set, and that's half the price of what Lego charge themselves some of these big sets nowadays. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, because I love the big sets, and I got the Technic Libre right in front of me, which, you know, the retail value for that when it came out was £400. And, you know, I don't think it's a bad price necessarily, but I do think that Lego do seem to be prioritising their profits over their brand picture. And my sort of gut feeling is, if they don't change things in the relatively near future, like in the next couple of years, I think Lego's brand could start going down, like the public perception of who Lego are as a company. And I think that's the biggest thing, in my opinion, that Lego's getting wrong, is that they are prioritising the profit over brand. I'm not saying that they're greedy, but again, from the limited knowledge I have around like public trade companies and stuff, they don't have pressure from outside shareholders to be like, we need to be making more money, I want my dividend payments to be going up and up. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think overall, I wouldn't say they're greedy, but I think there's something to that, like maybe that they prioritise profits too much. Like, I don't know exactly the profit margins of Lego, but you know, they're recording record profits year after year, especially since the pandemic, and popularity of Lego soaring. So do they really need to be putting prices up so much? Like in the UK, we saw a big price increase at the start of the year, and again, we're going to see another one. Now, the big one that sticks in my mind at the start of the year was Assembly Square, went up from £180 to £230, a massive £50 increase. Now, I've no idea, but is that going to go up again in price? Could we be looking at £250 or more? Like, and then it's just getting ridiculous. There's no way that they need to charge that much extra for the same set within a few months. I know inflation's crazy. I just filled up my car this morning and it cost me £95 to fill it up with diesel. And, you know, that's ridiculous. And I understand the prices are going up. And shipping from China, you know, I've looked into it a lot for myself and my business because I want to get some China products in. And I know it's like ridiculously expensive. And like manufacturing costs have gone up and all that. But I don't see why Lego needs to keep increasing their prices at the rate they are. Okay, so the next question is going to be about my Lego sort of Formula 1 / Silverstone track, and how long do I think that's going to take me? So I've just been to Silverstone this year to watch Formula 1. Was it Wednesday? So it's 3 days ago when I watched the race on Sunday. Brilliant race. And I very much plan on going to Silverstone again next year. So I would like this mock to be mostly done by then. Now, what I mean by mostly done is I want to start by doing the Silverstone pit straight. like not the national pit straight, but the pits that the F1 teams use. So I want to build that. I want to build the grandstands, the pit lane, and the big sort of pit lane building. And then I'd like to then build a track round after that. And I'm not too sure how much detail I'll go in with the rest of the track with like stands and that sort of thing, or if the track will actually follow the Silverstone layout, or if I'll just have the main straight be looking like Silverstone, the rest of the track I'll just sort of make up. I'm not entirely sure on that yet, but I'd like to have at least that pit straight bit done with some kind of even just a very simple looping track done by Silverstone race next year. And I believe it's going to cost me a few £1,000s to do, but it's definitely something I'm up for the challenge for, because I've never done a big mock before, and I'm really excited to get it done. So I'm going to be starting a series on that on the channel, where I'll be doing sort of like, I don't know how frequently, probably weekly updates on the building progress on it and how it goes on. I've ordered some parts recently for it. I need to get more base plates to fill up the table. But yeah, really happy with my idea so far. Keeps flowing, I keep changing them. I'm trying to get the position of the track right so I have enough space for the grandstand and stuff. But yeah, overall I'd like to have a big main part of it done by sort of this time next year, ready for the next Silverstone race. And finally, sort of keeping in theme with the F1, very fresh in my mind. So do I think that Silverstone is worth the money for tickets to go and see the Formula 1? Now, so I went for the full weekend. I went Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I had grandstand seats in Stowe, and overall I think the tickets were about £800 for two of us-ish. And overall it was just so worth it. Now, so it's a lot of money, but the experience was incredible. It was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And I'm definitely going back next year, and I want to upgrade my experience. I want to get in a track. I want to have pit lane walks and pay for Paddock Club and all that sort of stuff. So again, I know it's not really related too much to Lego and the channel that much, but it's very fresh in my mind and something I absolutely loved. So I really wanted to include it in a video. And overall, I'd say absolutely yes, Silverstone is so worth the money. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for episode 2 of Ask Ben. If anyone has watched this far to the end, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment on questions for next week's video, and I'll see you next time.